All right, guys, I have Brittany Smart with me. We're going to go over a BDM on Family First Life, which means we usually do this in person, but we're going to do it online so more people can see it. Maybe they're working, maybe they're busy, maybe they couldn't make it to an event. And we're going to go over the way Family First Life works. And we're in the office. There's a bunch of people dialing, and we thought who would be better than Brittany Smart, who's going to issue $400,000 this year, not as an agency, but on her own pen while she's building an agency. We're also going to debunk, we're going to call this like Mythbusters, because there's a lot of myths. People have said, well, Family First Life pays up to 140, but you can't build an agency, which is not true. It's just a rumor people make. People say you're not allowed to sell your friends and family. You have to buy leads, which is not true. It's just a rumor. So we're going to go through and kind of debunk some of these things and just tell the truth about the way the company works. Brittany, thank you for getting on. If you can kick it off and start going through some of these slides with us.
Thank you, as always, Andrew, for having me on. Okay, welcome, everybody. This is the business overview of Family First Life, a.k.a. the Rogue IMO, a.k.a. the best IMO in the company, in the industry. So this is our business overview. Okay, Andrew and I wanted to share this information with you guys because there's roughly 60% of people out there are working a second job, and that leaves 40% or more people, Andrew, who don't even know about us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As a company at FFL, we have 7,000 writing agents nationwide, but there are 1.4 million people who are licensed in the insurance industry.
So, and who are we looking for?
Everybody and anybody.
So if you don't have your insurance license, pay attention, because this is a good way to make money part-time. If you do have your insurance license, pay attention, because if you were like me, you could work here and triple your income immediately by getting high compensation, renewals, all the stuff we're going to go over.
And talking about dispelling some myths, Andrew, sometimes, people will say, well, working with FFL, you can only work part-time. Or I know at other companies that, you're either a full-time agent or you're building an agency. It's either one or the other. But here we're looking for agents that want to work part-time, full-time, or simultaneously work in the field and build an agency.
Right.
So we have everything here. If you guys don't know this guy, he's larger than life. He'll come to your mother's house and kick the door down. This is Sean Mike. He's our president, founder, and CEO. Sean personally issued over $800,000 in life premium in a calendar year, which was 5 years ago, Andrew?
6 years ago, yeah.
6 years ago, guys, as one agent. He was like one person. He was an entire agency.
You know what I love about his whole story, which that's for a different day, but 6 years ago I knew him, and he was running appointments in the field, running final expense, running 30 appointments a week, just like a lot of agents are doing now. Now he's running Family First Life, which is going to issue $220 million in premium by taking what he didn't like when he was in the field about the industry and then creating Family First Life to fill in that void for people that are in the field now. And I think that's why it blew up so much, but it's a pretty awesome story.
It's an amazing story. Sean had an agency of 30 agents issuing over $700,000 monthly,
which means he was good at getting people to sell. So a lot of businesses, it's all about recruiting, right? I think what's important with Family First Life is it's about recruiting, but it's also about putting money in the person's pocket that you recruit. How do they do that? Well, we have a system for them to go out, and they don't have to recruit anybody. They can, but they can make $250,000 a year without recruiting anybody. They can also recruit people. So he was good with only 30 agents issuing $700,000 a month. He was good at getting people to sell a lot and teaching them how to sell a lot. That's what I loved about that whole thing.
And knowing that, Andrew, I think that's one of the reasons why I think we can get people going and started so quickly, making money day one.
Yeah, and this is kind of funny. When I first came here, he goes, everyone could issue $10,000 a week in premium, $10,000 a week in premium. And I was like, this guy's a lunatic. There's no way you can do that. And a few people actually quit and said they went to work with a company that they didn't want that high of expectations set on what somebody should do or not. But what's weird is I witnessed it. People now, there's hundreds of people that go out and writing $10,000 a week is a normal thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's amazing, yeah. And when Sean created the company, Andrew, he had a mission to change the entire insurance industry. So how do you think he's doing?
Well, I think he's doing a great job. Yeah.
And I love this quote here, guys. This is a quote directly from Sean, and it's, "My goal is to have an army of men and women who have bigger bank accounts than any agents in the history of this industry."
That's cool.
And he's held true to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so when looking at Family First Life versus other companies or other IMOs, we want to do some compare and contrast for you guys. So let's start with on the compensation side, Andrew. Compensation for other IMOs.
Most companies, it's, let's say 40% starting on average, and you can go up to 100 or 110% comp, which means if you're not in the industry, if you sell a policy, that's the percentage you get of the first year premium, right? So if it's $1,000 a year, $83 a month, then you would get $400 if you're at a 40% commission rate. With Family First Life, it goes to up to 140%, which is funny because an agent just called me and goes, this is a scam because it was hilarious. He goes, this is a scam because you can't pay 140% because it's impossible to pay that much, because why would a company do that, right? And I go, well, the insurance company's collecting money for 30 years, so they're paying 140% of the first year, and then they're collecting all that money for years to come, so you should redo your math.
Even I was like, I was skeptical as well.
Yeah. So it's hard, but the way Family First Life is doing it, that is they're keeping less money. Most companies make the same amount, but they're keeping more of the money. And then renewals. Let's hit that. You came from a company where it was big on renewals, right?
Yep.
But what had to happen for you to get them?
It was renewals. You had to be there for a certain amount of time. Well, for vested renewals, you needed to be there 10 years.
What does vested mean?
10 years. So vested meaning for you to receive your renewals for the rest of your life whenever you leave, you had to be there 10 years. 10 years of service.
What if you left before 10 years?
If you left before 10 years, it was kind of grandfathered, but it really wasn't renewals like what renewals are. I think you and I have done the math on that, Andrew, and it was...
Okay, so with Family First Life, what it means is on final expense and universal life policies, there's a renewal that gets paid every year after you sell the policy. Some of them go for 10 years, some of them go for longer. It's a very small percentage, but it's a powerful thing in the industry to do something once, keep your client happy, and get rewarded for your client keeping their policy. With Family First Life, if you decide, do you have anything you want to do besides insurance ever in your life?
Yeah, maybe start like a health and fitness business.
So if you start a health and fitness business, you get to keep all of your renewals, even if you worked with us for 1 day, 5 days, 10 days. And that explains why you brought me this juice today. What is this?
Daily Kickstart juice.
So if you do, now let's go to the average income. Average income with Family First Life, $115,000. What do you think you're going to put in your bank account this year?
That blows me away. This year, I would say at least $350,000.
At least $350,000. Now, we say average because some people, you're self-employed here, so there's no minimums. You can come here and you can sell 1 policy a week. You could sell 10 policies a week. You can sell 20. The average is $115,000 someone puts in their bank account. You go out, you sell a lot of insurance. How many appointments do you run?
25 to 30.
25 to 30, and you'll get around $350,000 in deposits.
Yep.
Cool. Trainers. Everybody training issues 20 to 40 grand a month. Why do we do that? Because we don't want someone who did this 50 years ago preaching to everybody how to do it. So all of our trainers are actively or recently just got done writing 20 to 40,000 a month, going out in the field themselves and doing that. Let's go over this. So trainings, this is interesting. All trainings at Family First Life are free, right?
Yep.
Now, in the industry, have you seen people have to pay for training?
All day, every day.
Why?
I think it's part of the system, you know, when people come in, Andrew, when I've talked to a lot of agents, they're paying initiation fees to join a company and they haven't even started making money yet.
Yeah.
So they're literally just feeding money
So
into
some
that
companies
company.
make money off the initiation fees.
Yep.
And they make money off the training.
Yep.
So if they say, hey, pay us $2.99 to come to a conference to get trained, they're most likely making money.
Yep.
And with Family First Life, how much is it?
$0.
So when I started, I loved this. Sean Mike goes, hey, we are going to make money when you sell insurance. We're not going to make money by training you because we want everyone to make money, everybody to be happy. So you'll never be billed for anything. And the other thing that's cool is Family First Life went another step and said, we'll pay for everybody's pre-licensing. So you can hire as many people as you want. If you're interested in getting your license, you could put in the comments below. We'll let you know. We will sign you up for free to get your license.
I had a guy call me the other day, Andrew, and I told him about how we pay for the class. And he was like, do you guys know how much money that is? Like, you do that for everybody? He was just shocked.
And the goal is to do the opposite of what that's going rogue, doing the opposite of what everybody's doing. Leads. So Family First Life doesn't directly sell leads. Agents can get leads wherever they want, but they have worked with some lead vendors to get a discount on leads. So if you work with Family First Life, you get a big discount because agents at the company buy a lot of leads. Now, one big thing is how many leads do you have to get? None. Right. Or do you want leads? Britt, what advantage is it to having good lead sources?
I can set as many appointments as I want. I literally will never run out of people to see, or I will not go broke, Andrew, being in the insurance industry, as long as I have leads.
So you can, let's say you get started in the industry, you sell your friends, your family, your mom, your dad, everybody, and then you get referrals. But if you have leads, you don't have the roller coaster of maybe making a sale and maybe not making a sale, right?
Yep.
So the power is you're not going up and down, up and down, up and down. It's steady because you know how many appointments you can book if you get a certain amount of leads. Initiation fees, we kind of covered that. So no initiation fee. If you start with Family First Life, they're not asking you for any money. They'll even get you in class. Now, the other thing is you're truly independent. So we basically are Family First Life is the middleman between the insurance agent and the carriers, right?
Yep.
But all the money comes from the carriers. So an agent with Family First Life is completely independent. They don't have to sign any contracts. And a lot of companies, the experience I've seen is they have you sign like some type of non-compete or some type of contract. Why do you think they do that?
To lock you in so you can't go anywhere.
And why would they be worried about you not going anywhere?
Because what they have to offer is probably not the best thing.
If you're not happy, they don't want you to leave, right? Yep. So Sean goes, hey, if we keep giving everybody the best opportunity possible, what do we need a contract for? And why would they leave? And if they did want to leave, shouldn't they be able to, since they're 1099 contractors? And I was like, that's pretty cool.
Great.
So there's no contract. You don't sign something saying, hey, I have to work here for 2 years, or I can't work somewhere else. There's no contract saying that you don't own your own book of business, which you do. There's no contract saying that you're going to lose your renewals if you quit. Nothing, because it's all your business. Let's keep going. You want to run through the track record of Family First Life?
Yeah, so let's look at 2014, 5 years ago now, Andrew. Family First Life was issuing $22.1 million
a year. Yep.
Then in 2015, we doubled, 57.3. Then we go to 2016, and we're at 80.6 million. So let me ask you, Andrew, really quickly. When you started, and you started in 2014, right? The focus was mainly on, like, I know you guys didn't really start out with a lot, right? Didn't start out with a lot of leads.
We had one carrier, and the one lead company we had burned down. And I recently read that the best time to join a company is in like the 5th or 6th year, because all the problems that are happening are going to get figured out. So from a startup company where everyone thought we wouldn't be in business very long to now, there's a lot of cool things that the company offers now.
And you do say that. And as I've been here almost 2 years, you always say it gets better and better and better every single year. So in 2017, 100 million, and then 2018, 161.
And finishing 2019, 200, I believe it's 220 or 230. Yeah, 230 million in issue paid premium with the insurance carriers.
And next year.
You want to know something crazy? So when I came here 6 years ago, for those of you who don't know me, I'm 30 years old. And Britt, I don't have some crazy special persuasive personality or anything crazy, right? Just a normal guy.
Yeah. What you see is what you get with you.
So we were doing, when the first year that we came to Family First Life, my agency that I work with, we were doing about 80,000 in sales per month. We had about 14 agents on our team the first year. And then this last month, we did over 2 million in issue paid premium, and we had 601 people get a paycheck. And we always track based off people get a paycheck. So as the company's growing, the people that are working with the company, their teams are growing at the same rate, which is cool to see. And Family First Life doesn't even hire direct agents. So they're not competing with you,
right?
Which is another interesting thing. So I'm not competing with them hiring people. I can go out and hire agents and help them get going. And it just makes it a better opportunity for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to hit this, all the different carriers we use?
Yeah, so the carriers we work with, I love this, Andrew.
There's like 10 more, by the way.
Yeah.
Here's some of them.
Yeah, these are some of the carriers. I love going into a home and helping a family. And right away when I show them the carrier sheet, they like their faces light up. Oh, I know, Mutual of Omaha, Americo, AIG. So these carriers are A-rated. Most of them have been in business longer than 100 years. They're financially solid. They have great reputations. And working with these carriers, the partnerships, guys, I can tell you, as Andrew was saying, every partnership we have just continues to get better and better and better.
Yeah. Now, Gerber, everyone loves Gerber. American Amicable, they have Lassie on their logo. Everybody loves that. Mutual of Omaha, I mean, you see them if somebody likes golf or sports, they're all over. John Hancock, they've been around since before the light bulb was invented, which I still want to know how they wrote policies, if they had candles or what, and a whole bunch of other awesome companies. So the goal is when we go into a client's house, we can help them with term, final expense, universal life, annuities, IULs, all these different things with all these different companies, and it lets us customize what they want. So we have the most competitive of all different types of plans, and you can pick the most competitive between all these different companies. And then it's nice to go into a client's home and go, you don't like that? Okay, no problem. We can give you that. We can give you what you want. We don't have to force you to take the only 3 products we have that are overpriced.
Yep.
We don't have to force you to do that. And it's nice to go to a house and see that they actually know you're there for insurance, because the leads say that you're coming over for insurance. You're not coming over and going, hey, so now that I gave you this free whatever, let me try to pitch you insurance. It's, hey, I'm here for insurance. Do you experience that? Have you ever went over and they didn't know you were there for insurance?
No.
Never.
Absolutely not.
How many appointments have you ran?
I don't know, hundreds and hundreds by now.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, let's run through this product. So here's an example. And if somebody just wants to get this product with us, or they want to get multiple products with us, you can. You don't have to do everything. You can add a few things to your bag. You can do a bunch of cool stuff. But this product, this is pretty cool. It's with John Hancock. Their commission goes up to 140%. They have no medical exam. It approves people on insulin, diabetes, and a whole bunch of other things. The rates are extremely affordable. Every customer gets a Fitbit or an Apple Watch with their policy. It takes 10 minutes to get approved. They give you 15% cash back annually if you're active and you work out, which they track on the Apple Watch. You get a free Amazon Prime membership, 20% off hotels.com. The policy can pay for itself, and it's an extremely competitive, simplified issue, no blood, term product. Everyone should have this to be able to offer it. And with us, you can just do this. You can just add this, or you can add all of our carriers. You can just add a couple carriers. You could be selling MedSup, and you can work somewhere else, and you can work here. It's not a captive company where you have to do everything here. Let's keep going. All right. So I can't wait to see the 2019 official numbers.
I know. It's going to be crazy.
So 2018, 190 people issued 100K, 80 people issued 200K. This is on their own pen. 3,300, 12, 400, 6, 500, 2, 600, and one did over 750,000 on their own pen. So that's awesome. Britt, you want to run through the different products that we offer?
Yep. So as you touched on before, Andrew, the major things are final expense. So helping people plan for their burial, whether it's cremation, earth burial, mausoleum, however they want to be buried. It's a final expense product, and we use whole life generally. Then we have our mortgage protection. So with mortgage protection, obviously, there's a mailer that goes out. The client fills out the information. They send it back to the mortgage company, and we get it in real time, which is really amazing because when you call them, they know it's about mortgage insurance. They're ready to go. Then we also have our advanced market segment, which is IULs, annuities.
Which is the best training ever.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I love that.
So once a week, we do an online training on all of these different products. So people, if you don't know what you're doing, it's okay. We'll teach you. We also do a training every 6 months or every 3 months in every major city in person, so people can go to those.
At the sales conferences.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the other category is MedSup, which is now, really.
We did 350 apps, which is pretty cool.
And last year, how many did we do?
We did 350 apps this last month. Last year, we did 0. So getting into helping a client with all these different things, we're going to train you to be a full service agent. So you can go in, you can do final expense, mortgage protection, retirement planning, and help them with their Medicare as well.
And one of the big things that I love, Andrew, from where I used to be before when I only was able to sell a couple products like accidental death and then whole life, those were really it, maybe like a 4-year term, but none of those products had living benefits at all, and the rates were not competitive. So the fact that we can go in there, as you said, and be a one-stop shop and help the client with everything.
With their living. And how nice is it to help somebody and they appreciate it? And you have products like some of the Medicare stuff, it doesn't even cost any money. A lot of the insurance we give them, it's cheaper and more affordable than what they currently have.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what I tell people is this, like, Britt, what was your phone like 10 years ago?
I had one of those, probably those flip
Razor?
Motorola. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or that Nokia, like that was probably like 15, 20 years ago. That had
a BlackBerry at one point.
Yeah, that snake game on it. Blackberries, right? And how much better are phones now?
They're crazy.
What can they do?
Everything.
Creepy stuff. Like they're listening to you, all kinds of crazy stuff. What I tell people is insurance has advanced. And so sometimes we can put somebody in something way better now than what they got 10 years ago or what they currently have. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, you want to run through these lead types?
My favorite.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all about leads.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so the direct mail lead. So there's different types of direct mail leads. There's the buy per lead there for mortgage protection.
And this means we've sent a solicitation out. They filled out the entire thing and sent it back expressing interest in life insurance.
Correct, with all their information.
With all their information.
Contact them.
Okay.
So the cost of these leads, Andrew, they range from $30 to $60 generally, depending on what area you're in. The second one would be the mortgage mail drops.
And that means that you can just pay for the mail to go out and you get everything that comes back in, right?
Yep. Ranges from $450 to $600 per drop. So it's very reliable. You know each week what to expect.
Yeah.
And then typically it's mailing 1,000 pieces for those quantities. And then we have one of my favorites, which is the Facebook final expense lead. Yep. This has been a game changer, right?
It's a big time game changer. I love these leads.
So Facebook final expense leads are generated, like you guys know, through Facebook or some sort of social media platform. I love the cost of these leads. They're $15 to $25.
Depending on which one you pick.
Yep.
Now, an agent doesn't have to use any of these. So we have someone who goes, I don't want leads, and they don't use any of these. Or they can choose to use these, and they can figure out what they want. Or they can use our internet leads, right?
Yep.
Or they can use the B lead inventory, which is I don't know, millions of leads that people can get from of people that weren't helped, and the lead might be 2-3 months old. And what I love is someone can come here and they don't have to have a bunch of money to buy leads, because not everyone can go say, hey, on day one, they didn't come here because they're making a lot of money. We understand that. Most of the time you don't go, I'm making so much money at my job, I don't know what to do. I'm going to start selling insurance. Usually it's, hey, I need to make more money. Now, if you're not in a position where you have a bunch of cash flow, you can get these older leads that range from 50 cents to a couple dollars. And the only difference is you have to spend more time calling them, right?
Mm-hmm. Drop bys.
You can do drop bys, spend more time calling them, all that other cool stuff.
Yep. And one thing I love about that, Andrew, with the aged mortgage leads or any of the aged leads, is that when you do call them and you make that contact and they book an appointment with you, they already know what it's about. Mm-hmm. So it's a great warm lead. I'm going to let you go over this one because I know this is your favorite.
All right. So this is what I had hanging next to my bedroom, right next to my bed in my bedroom when I started working at the company, because I wanted to go up to the 140% contract. So this is interesting, Britt, because the way this works and why it's so valuable is because if someone wants to build an agency, they can move up the ladder. If somebody wants to just sell, they can move up the ladder. So if you look at the 90% mark, if someone sells 10,000 of premium 2 months in a row, they go to 90%. Or if their team does 15,000, so let's say they sold 0, but people on their team that they recruited did 15,000, they go to 90%. And to go to 110%, and to move up the ladder, you got to do each of these 2 consecutive months. To go to 110, you got to do 40,000 a month in issue paid premium by yourself, or 100,000 as a team. To go to the top contract, which is 140%, which I love, is you got to do 350,000 as a team, but it doesn't matter how many people you have. So a lot of promotional guideline things I've seen in the industry, you have to have like 72 writers, and they all have to have a specific amount of premium, and it's like this puzzle you have to put together. This is just straight up, if your team, if you have 10 guys do 35,000, you hit 350 2 months in a row, you're in. If you have 5 guys do 70, you're in. If you have 20 guys do 16,000 or 17,500, that adds up to 35,000, you're in. It doesn't matter how you dice it up, but you still can get promoted all the way to that top contract. Once you go up, you don't go back. So if you make it to 95, you're not going to get demoted if you don't hit your goal. If you make it to 105, you never get demoted. True. It doesn't matter. The bonus thing doesn't matter. There's no bonus. Like, hey, this is just compensation.
Yep.
Right? So it's pretty cool. So my whole goal was, which the person who hired me is one of my best friends, but I wanted to make the 140 because I was doing the work. But on top of that, FFL made a bonus so that the person that hired me, if he's at 140 and I'm at 140, he can still get compensated, which I think that's coming up here.
I love that.
All right, so this is July of 2019. So this is the monthly bonus Family First Life paid. This is for people who have they've hired people, they've gotten to 150,000. That's when the bonuses start. So there's a lot more than this. This is just the bigger ones. But what it is if you have someone that makes it to 140, you still should get compensated, and it's non-charge backable. Sorry, I've had a cold for like 2 weeks. Non-charge backable. And so Mike Killamit, he got $109,835.80 check for the month because he's helped a couple other people get to 140. That's on top of overrides, spreads, everything else. So the top contract, you could argue, is not 140. You could say it's way higher if you factored in this bonus into it.
That's a great point.
Yeah. You got any comments on this?
I'm just looking at these numbers. I'm just like blown away because if you look at 109,835 a month, Andrew, that's like, I don't even know what the stats are, but some people go to school for 10 years to earn that in 1 year. And then a lot of people don't even earn that in a year.
So I showed my friend my bonus and he goes, dude, and people go to the NFL to make the type of money that you're making and they get hurt and they don't get to make it forever, you know? And I was like, what I love about insurance is anybody can do it. You don't have to be a freak athlete to do it. You could be anybody. You can be a guy, a girl. You could be short. You could be tall. It doesn't matter. It's really a mental game.
Yep.
But yeah, it's cool to see that. Now, what's cool is I want everybody to move up the ladder so my bonus gets bigger, opposed to not wanting people to move up because I would make less money in spread and overrides.
I love explaining that opportunity to people that are just learning about us, because that's one big thing that, as you were saying with your relationship with Paul, Andrew, that you guys are both incentivized. So there's no reason why you guys both can't grow and earn money together.
Yep. Go ahead and hit this, Britt.
Okay, so a part-time agent with Family First Life, what does that look like? So as a part-time agent, generally you might start out off at an 85% contract. Now, if your first policy on average might be about $60 per month, which turns out to be $720 of annual life premium. Now, the commission on that, Andrew, without, as you were saying, any bonuses, anything for the first year commission is $459, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
That's if you're at an 85%
at an 85% contract. Now, a part-time agent, what does that look like if you want to buy leads? Typically, you'll buy some Facebook leads. As we said, they're $15 to $22 a lead. Most part-time agents do run on the weekends, so that's very key, very, very key. And then they're typically running 5 to 8 appointments a day.
Okay. Yeah. And then I think the big bullet point here is if you run 10 appointments and 3 don't show up and you have 7 and 3 out of the 7 buy,
you're still closing 3 of 7.
And over a month, that's $5,508 in commissions, which over a year is $66,096.
Which is great for a part-time job.
Yeah. And let's summarize this one up too. So if you're full-time, you're at a 95%. Now, most people are going to be much higher. We like to give conservative examples. You run 20 appointments, 5 don't show up. They no-show you. Believe it or not, people will not be home when you show up. Have you experienced that?
A couple times.
So they'll book an appointment with you, and then they won't be there.
Yep.
Part of the game.
Yep.
Okay.
Keep going.
Out of the 15, you only close 5. Is that realistic? Out of the 15 that are home, you only close 5.
That's very realistic.
Okay. On that model, that's about my model. That was my closing rate, just about.
25%?
Well, mine, 25% of the appointments booked, yeah. If I sat on 15, I probably closed 5. And I was okay with people telling me no. It was tough at first, kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, but I got used to it, and then I could go out and do this. So if you did that, 10 people a week tell you no, 5 people don't show up, 5 people say yes, that's $17,100 in premium, which is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry, $17,100 a month in commission, which is $205,200 a year. All right, if you're at a 100% contract, you hire somebody at a 90% contract, you make a 10% override. If they write 10 policies a month, you're going to make around $1,000, which to me was cool because some real estate investments that cost hundreds of thousands generate $1,000 a month in passive income. So the goal here is to be able to create passive income through renewals, but also overrides when hiring agents. When there's 1.5 million people already doing this, they can do it here and get paid more. This is like, I always like to look at examples, but it's like some companies should adapt, but I don't think they will. But it reminds me of like the whole Netflix and Blockbuster thing. Like I heard Netflix tried to get Blockbuster to use them. Blockbuster said no. Netflix takes over. Blockbuster goes out of business. You know, so it's just Family First Life is the new way to do be an independent contractor with insurance sales. Let's keep going. All right, so this is a super cool example. If you have 3 people, you're at 110% contract. You have Rob at 100, Sue at 90, and Ben at 80. You make the difference of their contract level. So if Rob sold $40,000 in a month, you would make $4,000 off of in overrides working with Rob. If Sue did $15,000 and she's at a 90%, you would make $3,000 working with Rob. If Ben made was at an 80% and did 10,000, you would make also 3,000 in overrides for working with Ben. And if you went out and sold 20,000 and you were at a 110% contract, you would get paid 22,000. So this simple example of 4 people is 384,000 in income. Now, it's kind of crazy because you were telling me a little while ago you lost touch of what it was like not to be making a lot of money when you hung out with like old friends and they were complaining about certain things and you're like, sometimes I forget how good we have it. Do you remember that?
Yeah. When I went home.
Yeah. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I think that, on the day-to-day, Andrew, when you have deposits coming into your bank account of, 5, 8 grand a day, or you look at the end of the month and you look at your bank statements and you've had an excess of 30,000 and more deposited in your bank account, like when you're in it, you feel like that's reality to you. That's real life. I can only imagine what your bank statements say. But I went home to Washington, where like that's my hometown, and I hadn't been home in a while. And I was just being back in my hometown where it's like 3,000 people, and just seeing how the average American lives, what their income is like. And even being back at home with my parents who are on a fixed income now, they're doing okay, but it's just like they don't have the freedom to do every single thing that they want to do, and like money is always an issue. And my dad's like really, really frugal. And it's just like, it brought me back to the reality of like what we do when we help families is so valuable, but we get paid like, sometimes I'm like, I'm not even worth this, like to get paid that much.
Yeah. But you are, though, because I think about how many people I went and saw and how many people died. I've had probably 30 people die that I've helped with a policy. And then you think, what did that do for their family? And it's something cool. And one thing that I want to say is if you're looking at working here, you got to have the right intention of helping people to make money. If you just want to make money, you're really, really going to struggle. And I don't know what it is, but you think clients can feel that.
Absolutely.
They can. When I went in just to pay my bills and I wasn't thinking about clients, no one was buying from me. So it was interesting. So lastly, if you're not licensed, then get with the person that contacted you and we can sign you up for licensing for free online. You can get your insurance license. You can start studying. You can work part-time. You can start to make a career or a part-time deal or whatever you want to do with it. You can start doing that. If you are licensed, get with the person that invited you to watch this video, and they can send you the appointment paperwork for the carriers or answer any other questions. If you have a bunch of questions, put them in the comments, and we'll be happy to go through and answer them all. Brittany, thank you for sharing with everybody. I think it was awesome. I think it was super helpful. And we're hopefully, if you're watching this, we'll be working with you and we'll meet you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Andrew.
Yep.